1. Cisgender. Imagine waking up every day in a house that was built exactly to your specifications. The ceilings are the right height, the colors match your mood, and you never feel the need to renovate. This is the essence of being cisgender. For a cisgender person, the gender they were assigned at birth aligns perfectly with how they feel inside. If the doctor said, "It's a boy," and that person grows up feeling like a man, they are cisgender. Because their internal compass matches their external label, they rarely experience gender dysphoria, the profound distress caused by a mismatch between mind and body. While roughly 99% of the world falls into this category, it is often a quiet experience because it aligns with the social default. 2. Transgender. Now, imagine being told you live in a house, but every time you look in the mirror, the person staring back feels like a stranger. Being transgender is the journey of aligning your external life with your internal truth. A transgender individual realizes that the ticket they were given at birth, based on their physical anatomy, doesn't match their soul. A person born with female biology may realize they are, in fact, male. To bridge this gap, many choose to transition. This might involve changing their name and wardrobe, or it could include medical steps like hormone replacement therapy or surgery to help their body catch up to their brain. Interestingly, some transgender people report phantom sensations of body parts they feel they should have, suggesting that the mind is often hardwired for a specific gender long before the body reflects it. 3. Genderqueer. If gender were a map, genderqueer people are the ones who decide to hike off-trail. They don't just feel like they're in the wrong zone, they feel that the zones themselves are too restrictive. Genderqueer individuals intentionally challenge the traditional ideas of man and woman. They might feel like a mix of both, neither, or something entirely unique. This identity is about freedom and personal expression. They often use gender-neutral pronouns like they/them, or even neo-pronouns like z/zer to describe a self that refuses to be pinned down by old-fashioned rules. 4. Agender. While most people are trying to find where they fit on the gender spectrum, agender individuals are the ones who look at the spectrum and say, "No thank you." Being agender means having no internal sense of gender identity at all. It isn't a neutral gender, it is the absence of gender. They see themselves simply as human beings, free from the concepts of masculinity or femininity. This can lead to gender fatigue, the exhaustion that comes from living in a world that constantly insists on categorizing you when you don't even believe in the categories. 5. Genderfluid. For some, gender isn't a fixed destination, it's a journey that changes with the weather. Genderfluid individuals experience an identity that shifts over time. On Monday, they might feel a strong connection to masculinity. By Friday, that feeling might have ebbed away, replaced by a feminine or neutral sensation. Their playlist is always on shuffle. They are comfortable navigating the entire spectrum, changing their expression, clothing, and pronouns to match the current tide of their internal self. 6. Non-binary. Non-binary is a powerful umbrella term for anyone whose identity doesn't fall strictly into the categories of male or female. Think of it as a rejection of the A or B choice. Non-binary people might exist somewhere in the middle, or they might exist entirely outside the binary system. They often blend traits, wearing a beard with a dress, or mixing masculine and feminine styles to create an aesthetic that reflects their internal complexity. By using they/them pronouns, they signal to the world that they cannot be stuffed into a single pre-made box. 7. Demigender. Demigender describes a partial connection to a specific identity. It's like being halfway across a bridge. You've left one side, but you aren't fully standing on the other. A demiboy, for instance, might feel a significant connection to being male, but there's another part of their identity that feels neutral or other. They have one foot in the traditional world and one foot in the vast unknown. This often results in a feeling known as gender fog, where their identity feels present but slightly obscured, making it hard to pin down with 100% certainty. 8. Pangender. If you took every color on the gender spectrum and swirled them together into one massive masterpiece, you would have Pangender. Pangender individuals identify with a vast range of genders, sometimes all of them simultaneously. They don't see masculinity and femininity as opposites, but as ingredients in a complex recipe. They appreciate the full richness of human identity and may shift through many different expressions to honor every facet of their expansive self. 9. Neutrois. While agender is the absence of gender, Neutrois is often described as a gender that is perfectly, intentionally neutral. Imagine a bright white light in a world of pink and blue. Neutrois individuals feel a strong sense of being gender neutral. They don't necessarily feel like nothing, agender. They feel like a specific, centered something that is neither male nor female. They often prefer a minimalist, androgynous appearance and neutral pronouns to protect themselves from the pressure of societal stereotypes. 10. Genderflux. Genderflux is similar to being gender fluid, but instead of the type of gender changing, it is the intensity that fluctuates. Imagine your gender is a light controlled by a dimmer switch. Some days, the masculinity bulb is at 100% brightness. Other days, it's dimmed down to 10%, leaving the person feeling mostly agender. Their identity doesn't necessarily jump from boy to girl, it simply waxes and wanes in strength, making their connection to gender a pulsating, rhythmic experience. 11. Bigender. A bigender person possesses two distinct gender identities. These can be experienced at the same time, or they can flip-flop back and forth. It's like being a dual citizen of two different countries. They might feel 100% like a woman and 100% like a man simultaneously, or they might mix a binary gender with a non-binary one. They don't feel half and half. They feel like two wholes living in one body, often changing their pronouns or presentation to reflect which citizen is taking the lead that day. 12. Androgynous. Androgyny is often as much about expression as it is about identity. Androgynous individuals intentionally blur the lines between male and female. They are the smoothies of the gender world, blending masculine and feminine traits until the original edges disappear. Whether through fashion, voice, or behavior, they occupy the space where pink and blue meet to create a perfect, stylish purple. They prove that you don't have to choose a side to be a complete person. 13. Gendermask. Finally, we have identities that lean toward masculinity but reject the tough guy stereotypes. Often referred to as soft boys or masculine-leaning non-binary individuals, these people embrace the masculine label but jazz it up with sensitivity, nurturing, and even feminine aesthetics like makeup or jewelry. They are comfortable with he/him or they/them pronouns, but they use them to redefine what it means to be masculine. They prove that you can vibe with masculinity without following the old-school manhood rulebook. Thanks for watching. For more, simply hit subscribe.